So it's recording. I cannot see the Chrome button because of all the stuff in the way. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I need to move this. Okay, my paper's ready. Let's start. Alright. Ready? So it's recording. So whenever you want to start.
Oh, okay. I was
I'll
on
start.
TikTok. Okay.
You should include this.
Alrighty. Brothers. Alright. Hello, Mr. Malaro. We miss you so much. We miss being in your class, and Clara and I hope you and your family are staying happy and healthy during these unprecedented times.
Unprecedented? It's a big word. Okay. And I'll go. Oh.
What are we actually? I thought we were actually trying.
We are. I'm trying to get it to work. Okay, starting now.
Okay.
Today.
Wait, no. Let's start over.
No.
So we're including this part?
Yes.
No. No.
Yes. Let's do.
No.
Today.
Start it over. Come on, we're so close to being done.
Alright. Go.
Oh.
Hello,
Mr. Malaro. We miss you so much. We miss being in your class, and Clara and I hope you and your family are staying happy and healthy during these unprecedented times.
That's a big word. Today, we are going to be looking into the influence that 20th century author Virginia Woolf has had on society. The three aspects that she has influenced the most and that we'll be talking about today include modernism, education, and feminism.
Woolf was born in South Kensington, England on January 25th, 1882. She had 3 full siblings and 4 half-siblings. She was born to wealthy parents who were both authors and historians. The death of her 2 siblings and her mother led her to mental breakdowns and fatal mental health issues.
Although she wasn't given a proper education like her brothers, Woolf did receive some private education from tutors. Her education growing up and exposure to writing at a young age through her parents' and family newspaper introduced Woolf to all types of literary genres. This background allowed Woolf to become a professor, writer, and literary critic, which would shape her writing and the modernist movement.
However, despite the education she was given, it wasn't the proper education that her brothers received without question. This denial to a formal education because of her sex, combined with the sexual abuse she faced from her brothers, which her mother and sister couldn't prevent, helped Woolf identify as a feminist, a part of a movement she would drastically help and sparked her interest in education reform.
The first aspect Woolf influenced was modernism. Virginia Woolf's stories are famous for being a major factor in the literary modernism movement. Woolf's writings mark a big change in the type of writing in England. She had a unique writing style that had never been seen before. The sense of radical differences between the modern world and the world before and after the First World War became a major theme of Woolf's fiction. After World War I, Woolf noted that people had changed, which she incorporated into her writings, and there was a notable difference between writings before and after Woolf's time. Her work as a professor at Morley College and as a literary critic helped influence her work. This difference carried on to many future generations and can still be seen today.
Additionally, with the influence of her friends in the Bloomsbury Group, a group of associated English writers, intellectuals, philosophers, and artists, Woolf's writings started to greatly reflect modernism trends and defied traditional genres and topics, helping spark a new culture of writing. Woolf's writings reflected the social changes occurring in England during her life. While most fiction was about the commonalities between people, Woolf wished to shift the entire genre into focusing on their differences, as she believed that people had changed in 1910. Woolf's writings, focusing on individuality, were influenced by a change in society, which was a stark contrast to previous fiction writings. Her unique writing style pushed a movement that influenced all stories and was directed by her opinion of class and gender issues in Britain.
Secondly, Woolf was an activist for education reform, calling for a change of what and who was teaching and what was taught, and she was also an advocate and supporter for women's education. In her support for women's education, Woolf's argument is clear. For women to lead a better life marked by intellectual freedom, they must be educated like a man in a system that values both sexes equally. She emphasizes that the system needs to include women in order to allow them the freedom of expression, and calls for the changing of the system as a whole, which discriminates by gender and class. Woolf's unique circumstances, being raised wealthy and with some form of education, heighten her claims on the subject of educational equality for girls, and her contributions to this issue are paramount.
Individuals like Malala are who Woolf dreamt of as she wrote A Room of One's Own and The Three Guineas. Malala is a living embodiment of Woolf's ideas concerning the education of women and educational equality, the crystallization of what Woolf hoped for future female students. She epitomizes Woolf's idea of the self-actualized, fulfilled, and educated woman.
However, Woolf's argument for educational reforms are not limited to female equality. She called out changes that needed to be made for not just women, but the education that men also received, which was focused around the ideas of war. Woolf realized that formal education, in its existing condition, was not the answer. It had been well funded and had educated men for over 600 years. Yet, oppression, discrimination, and war still existed. Woolf argues that the institution of education must be reformed because the system in existence was an extension of the patriarchal social structures that glorified violence and explicitly taught men how to engage in war. She also suggests a change in who is teaching. She claimed that the teachers should be drawn from the good livers as well as the good thinkers. Woolf rejects the traditional structure of liberal education and favors a more egalitarian system that places women on the same footing with men, so that by starting off in the same place, they may have the equal opportunities for success in life.
Lastly, and probably the area Woolf influenced the most, Woolf was a major supporter of the feminist movement, and her writing inspired authors, readers, and society as a whole. Similar to the previously mentioned education reform, Woolf believed in women's education as a major step towards female equality. Woolf, who experienced first-hand misogyny, resented the limitations imposed by the male-dominated culture, denying her the education her and her brothers received, and failed to protect her from their sexual abuse. Always aware of the significance of gender, Woolf identified as a feminist. Woolf realized that with the proper education, women could really start to challenge social gender roles and give them tools to fight for themselves. She transcended traditional writing styles and expressed these feelings and experiences in her writing. She called attention towards making education more widely available and helped lead feminist movements through her writing, influencing how people viewed women.
Woolf's feminist opinions and advocacy for female education helped shape her writing style as she started to incorporate non-traditional character roles and ideas which influenced feminist authors and readers. She challenged and influenced feminist readers and writers. Woolf acknowledged the differences between male and female writing styles, but emphasized that this difference did not impact quality, inspiring females in the writing community.
Woolf's writings were influenced by her exposure to literature as a child and her experiences with gender discrimination. Her stories eventually influenced the modernist literature movement, which impacted writing styles long after she passed away.
So many people and their works were impacted by Woolf and her writings, and people continually draw inspiration from her stories.
And that is it. Thank you for watching. We hope you have a nice day or night whenever you are watching this. And we can't wait to visit your classroom next year and hopefully get you into 12th grade.
Thank you.
So thank you.